Hey, Calvin Ellis here. Welcome to Spinner Rack. I was thinking about superheroes the other day. I was watching this ad on YouTube, which I'll get into a little bit later. But I was thinking about superheroes, and one of the things that always attracted me to them as a reader and as a kid was their role models at the end of the day. Okay, and most people don't seem to understand that we don't connect to these characters because they're like us. We connect to them because we want to be them, or we believe that we could be them on some level if we actually had that opportunity. So if you're into a character like Superman, like myself, there's a part of you that believes, yeah, if I had these abilities, I would go out and I would help people and I would right, wrongs and I'd save the planet, along those lines. And then there's other guys, if you had the power, you'd be Thanos, which always makes me look at these guys who really support these villains like Big Business and, Dr. Doom. Always makes me look at them, like, hey, got to keep my eyes on you. But one of the things that I decried about Man of Steel, I still don't like the film. One of the things that I decried about the film was that they decided that becoming a hero, or a superhero for that matter, was formulaic, that every superhero has to have some sort of trauma or some sort of dysfunction, and then they have to overcome that dysfunction first, and then somehow they become a hero. Now, the problem with that is that they never show us the actual hero. They just show us all of the trials towards overcoming all of this dysfunction. And then the moment that they're good, they're off to go, they drop the story because they don't know how to write stories about superheroes. They don't know how to write stories about heroism. In Man of Steel, the idea that Superman, and again, there's two types of heroes. There's the hero born and the hero made. A hero born with someone like Superman. He's born and all the qualities that he needs to be a hero are already there. Okay, they can be cultivated by the Kents, but they're already there at the end of the day. Whereas you have a hero that's made, meaning that some action, some traumatic action usually is what jumpstarts this guy on the path towards becoming a hero. This is like as far back as Gilgamesh and Hercules, where you have Hercules, the born hero, as opposed to Gilgamesh, the made hero, where he has to go through the experience of losing a kid knew his best friend before he realizes that he has to use these abilities for the good of his people. So we go to Man of Steel, and it's really supposed to be a story about a hero made, but it's not a story about a hero or anything. It's just about just about this dysfunctional guy who happens to have superpowers and doesn't know what the hell to do with them. If John Kent tells him not to save anyone, okay. If his AI father Jor-El comes and says, hey, go out there and go fly, he goes and flies. And if Zod says, hey, it's going to be either you or me, then hey, it's going to be either him or Zod. And we saw that it wasn't Zod at the end of the day. Nope, still haven't gotten over him snapping his neck. But I look at the treatment that they've given for superheroes, how they've gotten so far away from it, how it's so ham-fisted in terms of the approach. And it's all over. It's not just the DC films. I'll see it on the CW, how they do things in comics, where these guys, I remember everybody was heralding the Ms. Marvel books with Kamala Khan when they first came out. And I just found them dreadfully boring because I said, why would I want to be this person? She's coming home. She's going through all these experiences just like a regular teenager. I'm like, well, that's great. I go through that. Where's the fun stuff that makes me want to put myself in this character's shoes and be this person? I would not want to trade the life I have with her life. And she has superpowers. Okay, that is saying a lot. She has superpowers, and I want nothing to do with this character, or I wouldn't want to trade places. That's saying a lot at the end of the day. So now there was this Gillette ad that came out on YouTube, and I was pretty surprised because normally, I've seen people dislike stuff, but I've never seen a video come out and get, say, 60,000 likes and 360,000 dislikes. Never seen anything like that before. So I watched it. And it does take a bit of stuff to actually offend me or, get me a little bit angry. But I did get my back up over this. And part of the reason was because it felt like it was an attack against men, period. Okay, not bad men, just men, period. And a lot of people say, no, it wasn't like that. It was, it was just the bad actors. And look at the good guys in there. And I use the same litmus test with this as I would do with the comics. Would I want to trade places with any guy in that video? Would I want to trade places with any guy in that advert? And the answer is no. The guys who are terrible, I don't want to be them. But then the guys who are supposedly good, I don't want to be them either. Okay, this is not something that I would want to aspire to. Oh, you don't want to aspire to breaking kids up? No. Okay, no. There is nothing about that energizes anything in me as a human being, as a man, nothing. It just looked like somebody was trying to talk down to me, one, and then two, that something is fundamentally wrong with men overall. For you to even make such an ad, I mean, it just goes without saying. If you made an ad like that for all white people or for all black people or for women, I guess that would be the easiest one. If I made an ad saying, well, hey, ladies, when it's that time of the month, you really got to be able to to rein in those emotions, and you can't use that as an excuse to do these particular things. I'm a sexist. I'm a misogynist. I'm out of a job. I can't go on any of the social accounts I have anymore. It would never happen. The idea that they felt that they could do something like this and, just literally just aiming at guys with no problem, just really strikes to where we are at the end of the day. But it stems, I think, a lot from, and I make the connection to where the writing and the push has been towards what we value in terms of, human beings and in terms of character. I mean, if I look at the original Superman film, this was a guy who got it right. Superman didn't have to come over here and screw up and let people fall to their deaths. No, he came to this planet. The first thing he does when he comes to this planet is what? He saves someone. Okay, he saves his foster father, John Kent, from being crushed by a truck. And he smiles when he does it. Later on, his father dies. And but we all know that experience of losing someone and understanding as much as we can do, we can't necessarily save that person. And then he just goes on, to save people, and to help people. He doesn't come over here and get, I got to come over here and half the planet has to die for me to realize, oh, maybe I should go left instead of right. No, he finds it in himself to always come up with a solution. Okay, and those are incredibly masculine qualities at the end of the day. Superman asserts himself without being aggressive. Okay, he takes all of that masculinity. No point does he ever come across as wimpy. Okay, he never comes across as frail, but at the same point, he's not domineering. Again, like he says in the film, he's a friend. Translate that to Man of Steel. Forget about it. You wouldn't want to be this guy's friend. Yeah. It's pulse pounding and he's punching a whole bunch of stuff and knocking people through walls, but he's dangerous. Okay, he's by no means self-assured. Okay, and why in the world would you want to trade places with this guy? Okay, you're going to end up being ostracized at the end of the day. You're not going to be able to connect to people, and that's what Superman overall wants to do. He wants to connect with human beings. He wants to be one of us, even though he's not. Okay, and that's a daily, I don't want to say struggle, but that's a daily challenge for him at the end of the day. Yeah? And I see the same thing in these adverts where they have decided that in superhero stuff, they decided, well, people are fundamentally flawed and we have to get over that. And no, people aren't fundamentally flawed. Okay, we're not born broken and then somehow we got to put the pieces together. No, okay, we're people. We have the ability to change. And because we have the ability to change, okay, it's a continuous process. We don't that whole thing about evolving is a bunch of malarkey, because that was the physical, evolution where we get to this point. If you, subscribe to such a stuff, we get to this point where we're walking upright, less hair, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Everything else, these are social and cosmetic things that we go through at the end of the day. And what we've been put forward is that we're going to evolve into some higher level being. Men and women haven't changed in the last, as far as I can tell from written history, last 5,000 years. Guys are pretty much doing the same stuff. Women are pretty much doing the same stuff. We still have the same complaints about each other. But what's put forward is that somehow, fundamentally, people are wrong. And right now is, I guess it's guys turns up, at the bat to just, take a bashing. I'm kind of happy to see some pushback, towards it because it's ridiculous at the end of the day. But I see the same parallel with the superheroes. And the superheroes that were successful, were the ones who, came. Okay, I mean, look at the Marvel heroes, I think are great examples. Because these are guys who were fundamentally these are the heroes that were made. Your Spider-Man, your Iron Man. Iron Man didn't just get up and say, hey, let me make this suit of armor and I can help people. He had to be put in a situation and he realizes, oh, I can actually do this stuff. He was a munitions dealer. And then he realizes, this isn't necessarily the best thing to do once he's put in that situation. But the Marvel characters come over and these guys do not come across as fundamentally flawed. Okay, these are people who change as opposed to people who are just broken at the end of the day. That advert, presents, men as just being broken, okay, worthless. And whether you're the guy who wants to chase after the girl or the guy who comes out saying, no, dude, not cool, it looks bad either way. You don't want to be either one of them. So it comes back to me what superheroes, like when we're putting them out there, okay, these guys represent, whether people want to realize it or not, the best qualities that human beings have to offer, male or female. Okay. And the other thing that a lot of people refuse to admit or even understand is that superheroes, look, these are masculine qualities. Superheroes from their start were men. Okay. All of the qualities that we like in these guys, okay, even with the evolution that we will give the superheroes when they're no longer flinging people through walls necessarily, but all of those qualities are masculine qualities because they were men. Okay, until we get Wonder Woman coming along and she takes a bit of prominence, these are male heroes that everybody likes, that everybody resonates with, and they're promoting the best, qualities that men have to offer, if we present them that way. Now, if we focus on the worst, then yeah, everything looks terrible. But it's no different than that ad at the end of the day. You got to put those best qualities forward. And, like the great philosopher De La Rosa said, we have to emulate those qualities. We are creatures of imitation. If you give us the best qualities to emulate, that's what we're going to do. If you give us the other stuff, that's what we're going to do at the end of the day. That's how human beings do it. Yeah, but the ad left a really bad taste, but it also reminded me how many of these superhero films that I've seen that have also left a bad taste because they're predicated in the same nonsense. We're not broken, but we're people. You have to give people the opportunity to change, but you also need to show them, hey, this is what you can be if you do change. Okay. Now, if I'm some guy over here and I'm pretty much getting up and I'm doing my 9 to 5 and I see this ad, the Gillette ad, I'm not changing into that. That's not worth my time. And that's where you got the whole thing wrong. It's not that you don't understand men or women. You don't understand people. Okay. And until then, hey, well, what can I say? Dollar Shave Club. I'll catch you later.